All right, back with another UFO report from 1978. These kinds of UFOs you do not. These are rare. These are uncommon. You do not hear this type of shape very often. Or it's rectangular. This one's from Connecticut, Avon, Connecticut. The synopsis is: driving early a.m. in Avon, Connecticut, I spotted an object 50 feet in the air as large as a house. So let's see what this person saw. Were there any other observers? I'm not sure. I was driving back to where I was staying that night after dropping off of a friend. I was driving up a road in Avon, Connecticut, when I saw a bright light up ahead. I thought this was unusual for this time of night. I proceeded up the road, and when I got to where the light basically was coming from, there was no light present. What? I looked around and curiosity. I looked around in curiosity and discovered an object the size of a house hovering about 50 feet in the air. Well, that's not very far up. It was basically a half moon and visibility was good. This object was very dark and large. There were no lights. So that's weird, though, that he said he saw a bright light up ahead, but when they got there was no light. So this object was very dark and large. There were no lights on, and it made no noise whatsoever. I parked my car in the middle of the road and left it running with the lights on, hoping someone would come down the road to witness this as well. I stood still in one spot staring at this object for about 5 minutes, fearing that what it would be capable of doing. Right. I looked around and saw a house that had its lights on, so I ran over to it and knocked on the door. I waited for a couple of minutes, but nobody answered. I ran back to where my car was, and the object was still there. I became so scared I jumped in my car and drove off quickly. As I went to the stop sign at the end of the road, I looked up and the object had followed me all the way down the road. Oh boy. I turned to the left and saw the object was still following me. I floored the gas and never looked back again. It took me over a month to tell anyone else, but eventually I told my parents. We ended up moving to an area basically right where this event occurred, and a neighbor saw the same thing almost 1 year to date later. She described the exact same event I witnessed. Oh my gosh. So, according to the witness, it was rectangular in shape, even though the description, when they're writing the description, they don't mention the shape of it. That is really strange. The rectangular ones. I mean, you just don't hear that a square or like a rectangular shaped craft very often. I did do some reports on. I do have some reports on my channel though of some really good ones of that shape, that type of craft. And here. And now we have another one here. So, I don't know, it's just really strange. How would it, if it's a rectangular, how the heck would it even be able to fly? It doesn't even make sense, you know? Um, it's just a really strange shape for any kind of craft. Really strange. Scary too. It was following him. All right. So Avon, Connecticut. As always, let me know what you think about this incident. Did anyone else see this thing in Avon, Connecticut, in 1978? I'm wondering if there were more witnesses, since there were at least two. Apparently, the craft came back, and another person saw it a year later, so that's kind of crazy. Um, but yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. I'll be back with more UFO and other related content soon.